Okay. Hello, we are back. Hi, moms. Happy Teachers Week. I don't know when I'll be able to publish this, but I'm recording this during Teachers Week. And I wanted to show you how you can actually utilize your Agos Timon homeschool planner. So essentially, it's a Google Sheet. So as soon as you purchase, you will get this one. Okay, wait lang. Hindi ko makita. And what you need to do is actually copy it first, because you will see it's it's going to be this file actually. So ayan, it's view only. So this prevents you from actually editing the template so that you can go back to it in case you make a mistake, and those who also get this aside from you will also have that fixed template. So you have to make a copy and then rename it, save it in your personal drive and rename it or put it wherever you want it, okay? And then click make a copy. So my personal copy is going to be this one. Ano ba to? Okay, I cannot. So let us just extend this. So there are going to be instructions on how you make a copy, and then there's a guide here. It's like an outline basically of each of the sheets of this guide. You're gonna start off with putting in your students under letter B. Ayan. So you put your students in column B. So for example, for me, that's Ru and that's Kako. Okay, that's it. And then, in rhythm details, this is basically what your routine is gonna be like. Ano yung tinakda ninyo sa orasan na ideal rhythm ninyo in your homeschool. So, will you be having, like what we prescribed, 7 weeks per quarter, per season, per cycle, per term, however you call these chunks, basically, of lessons or themes in your homeschool, and then how many weeks are there for each and how many days in our so usually people will have here 3 terms, 12 weeks, 5 days a week, ganyan. Okay, some naman will have 4 quarters with 9 weeks, tapos 4 days a week lang yung sineschedule nila. So as you can see, mababawasan siya. You can also change. Hi, Paco. You say hi. So you can actually also change how you label them. Are you going to do it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or maybe just Tuesday, Wednesday, or MWF lang pa kayo mag-homeschool? In our family though, I want to be very intentional about our rests. That's why we kind of homeschool the whole year. So I map out 7 seasons, and then each season has 7 weeks, and I also plot for 7 days per week because usually our days really change on a daily basis, especially during the weekday. The weekends are very busy, and I like how I'm also able to plot as a lesson my own rest, or my mother culture essentially, and our field trips. So I'm able to plot them on weekends as well. At saka yung totoo, may music and ballet classes din sila on weekends, so I might as well put it there. It's also nice to see everything later when the magic happens. Okay, now streams. So as you can see, the students automatically generated here at the 3rd row of the streams. Essentially, your streams, kasi nga Agos, flow, is just something that I've coined to call your groups of lessons, kumbaga. In traditional schools or in a Charlotte Mason homeschool, this would probably be like your morning time. So usually dito naka-chunk yung mga, you play a hymn, you go through the national anthem. This is where you put your values, lessons, whatever religion you have, and also your music, ano pa ba, your picture study, and then you have your core subjects. Usually this is yung social studies, science, ganyan. Ano pa ba mga core subjects? Usually people also chunk in language arts and math as a core subject. But for our family, I call that dailies. Some families would call yun nga, ipapasok nila dito yung math and language arts. And then they would still have enrichment classes. Kumbaga ibang cluster of lessons yun. Ayan. Ano pa ba? For our family though, I call these groups together lessons. So usually that would already be core subjects and the riches. So that would be, we do things together like hymn, nature study, and then we alternate social studies and science. And then throughout the week, I assign a day for music, art, PE or health, and then crafting. Ganyan. And then I have a focus on Filipino studies, whether we read a health book, a science book, or a Filipino story. Okay? And then I have the ones for each student. So Paco will be in grade 3 and we will be in grade 5. Ayan. So I will put checks here because that's what applies to each of them. The reason why I limit it to 3, because if you go all the way to the end of the planner, okay, I am only able to craft weekly schedules for 3 streams. So, ako personally, I want to see all of our lessons for that day together. So, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, ideally mag-generate dito lahat ng lessons for the week that you are currently in. So, dito kasi, papalitan nyo dito sa currently in kung anong week ka na nandun. Okay? Hindi pala nag-auto transfer yung fonts ko. Nakaka-OC. Ayan. So that's the only reason why. But if for example, you have several streams naman. So for example, yun nga, gusto mo magkahiwalay si morning time at saka si core. Kunwari lang ito na lang. Si morning time to. Tapos ito si core. Tapos ito si extracurricular. Kunwari ganun na lang yung tawag natin. For riches. Kasi very CM. So, morning time, they do that together. Extracurricular, they also do that together. So, that's 5 streams already. Obviously, when you go to the weekly sheets, hindi mo makikita yung iba. So, what I do here is I will just change the stream number here. So, for example, we will only do, Mondays, definitely you'll do morning time, grade 3 and grade 5. But I also want to do core subjects. When I look at my Monday schedule, all I need to do is just change this. Kunwari tapos na ako sa individual work ni Paco at ni Ru. When I look at this schedule, I'm gonna change this to core subjects and extracurricular. And then the lessons will automatically change as well. Okay? Ganyan, ha? Okay, so let's go back to the setup. So that's our rhythm. For my family, I only have 3 together lessons, grade 3 and grade 5. Okay? So that's my recommendation. I have more helpful hints here on how you can decide on how you will actually structure your lessons. Okay? Now, this is for reference only. So check. Do I have the number of rhythms I want? And the weeks per rhythm and the days per week. Okay, tama ba yung mga nakalista kong estudyante? Kumbaga enrollment sheet to. check, check, check. Lahat sila enrolled in together lessons in grade 3 and grade 5. Okay? So let's take a pause there. Usually, homeschool families would probably find that your your lesson planning will depend on the materials that you have. That is why it's very important for you to go through the course, the self-paced planning course, so that there's a vision and foundational truth to your family, so that your values are really molded into this plan. You're not just following a curriculum, because curriculums are suggestions. Essentially, you get to decide how or what lessons you would like your children to learn, at what pace, and in what order. Okay? So, kami, for example, huwag na natin lagay yung cost, ano? For our lessons, I'm gonna plug that in. So, for example, for next school year, we are just I'm trying to simplify and streamline. So we're going to use the Treehouse, Nature Schoolhouse, Flourish Bible Study. So that's for Bible. And then for social studies, world history, we're using Curiosity Chronicles. Hindi pala. We're going to use Without Doors, Modern History, Modern World. And then, I'm going to use the Buhay Aralan Kasaysayan ko for, that I am testing, that's why it's not yet for release. Buhay Aralan Kasaysayan ko for, because it aligns with modern history. And then, for science, my kids chose to do physics. So, together they're going to study the Journey Homeschool physics classes. For nature study, ano nga ba yung nature study namin? Okay, I'll skip that kasi may science na ako. For language arts, Rue is going to do writing and rhetoric for. And then, her math is teaching textbooks 6. She's in grade 5. Paco, on the other hand, is going to do Zoo Night Keeper for his language arts. And then, he's also going to do, ano pa nga ba? Teaching textbooks 3 for math. For music, we are going to do Thistles and Biscuits, Living Harmony. For art, what are we going to do for art? For art, we are doing the Master Society. So, as you can see, we're not very Charlotte Mason when I try to hit kumbaga, all of our milestones, all of the DepEd matatag aligned subjects. But what I would do is, I will definitely have our Buhay Aralan, our co-op Plutarch classes here, our co-op Shakespeare classes here, and then Paco will also have his Living Filipino here. Rue is also going to do the Philippine Charlotte Mason Philippines Sariling Atin for Filipino. So she's just continuing that. And then ano pa ba? Music, art. For crafts, I forgot what we were doing for crafts. The Teapot Society. Ano nga ba yun? Here. Tama ba ako? Yes. So, we are doing, ay, mali. Oh, no. Okay, let me get back to you on that. But anyway, yeah, we have something for crafting here. Ano pa ba yung mga very Charlotte Mason namin? Aside from these, I loop in like a book club or book study for them, which is based on Torchlight's curriculum. So, we're having global studies based on Torchlight 5 because Rue is going through the MUN Institutes, the MUN Institutes Model United Nations. Model United Nations, mini delegates conference. And then, online classes pala to. Ru has, of course, her ballet. Paco has his hip-hop. Ayan. Okay, so essentially, if you plug in, kunwari kung magkano tong mga to, kunwari lang ayan, magto-total yan dito, so that you can see if, kunwari lang to hindi yan yung mga presyo na yan. So, for example, ito, naku, ang mahal ng ballet. Mga 8 months, ganyan. So, ganyan, di ba? Ang mahal. Okay, so it's gonna show you, essentially, where you are if you are deciding your curriculum on a budget basis. Anyway, after you've discerned exactly what you're using, okay, you can go to here, enter subjects. And it's going to show you, once you plug in, how long you're gonna do each subject and how many times per week. Exactly how long your students are going to be studying. For our family, I put it as at a maximum of 2.5 hours per day. Also because I work from home. So, we're gonna need to be flexible in that sense. So, for example, I'm gonna plot here, okay, Bible, Social Studies, kunwari subjects lang muna tayo. Science, grade 3 Math, grade 3 Language Arts, grade 5 Math, grade 5 Language Arts. So, every day, so mga 5 days naman. Itong mga to, these are my dailies. And then science, I do it twice a week. Social studies, twice a week. Bible is also every day. And then we do music, art, and crafts once a week. What else? We will tackle our global studies once a week. Yes! I'm recording a video. And then we are going to, for example, Paco has a literary track from Blossom and Root. So, he has to read that 4 times a week. So, does Root's literary track. Okay. So, every day, okay, when it's Root, it's about 20 minutes. When it's Paco, it's about 10 to 15 minutes. Ganyan. Our lessons, actually, yun totoo, our Bible studies can go up to like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. But I try to limit it to 15 minutes. Kasi nga yung 2.5 hours, hinahabol ko. So, yeah. Ideally daw, depending on your child's age, since Ru is 10, she can do a lesson per subject for 20 minutes a day. Ganyan. So, for Paco, though he's 7, nasa mga 14 minutes. But I put it at 15 kasi may mag-map out na 15 minutes. Okay. So, these ones, itong mga riches, yun totoo, ang tagal na ito usually gawin. So, kumbaga nag-ano kami, nag-rabbit hole kami kasi talaga. So, these are together lessons, 3, 3, 5, 5. And then, ayan, lahat to, halos together lessons na. Paco, and then Ru. I also plot here Ru's ballet and Paco's hip-hop. And then they also have guitar lessons and drum lessons. So, these are all twice a week. Once a week lang to. Si Ru does it 3 times for an hour. So, an hour and a half. So, ilan yun? 90 minutes. Paco has it for an hour. Ayan. Per lesson. So, Paco, Ru, Paco, Ru. Okay. So, now that I've checked all of the subjects that each child will get, I'm gonna check muna, there's total time. Ay, wala pa pala. Amen. Ideally, you're going to plug in the lessons per subject. So, as you can see, nakasulat na dyan yung subject. And then, because this is 5 times per week, I need to plan for 245 lessons for the whole year that I've plotted. Essentially, it's like that. Okay? So this is the overwhelming part. This is where you will probably take long and type in the lessons. Okay? But once you plug your lessons in here, it's gonna be magical already. Okay? This is when you schedule each of your subjects. So for example, in our together lessons, because we do it every day, I'm going to put this in every day. Social studies, we start off with that, and then because I alternate that with science, I'm gonna put that here. And then we also do music and then art here. Kaya gusto ng mga anak ko ang Wednesdays because it's crafting. As you can see, mawawala yung numbers dito. Okay? Ibig sabihin, na-schedule nyo na lahat. Okay, for Paco, he does math and language arts every day. So I'm gonna just paste that there. Okay? And then he does his hip-hop on Wednesdays. Ay, drums pala muna. Kasi sa umaga dumarating si teacher, his coach. And then he go in the afternoon. Ay, he goes, see, magre-red siya kapag dumoble ka na. So, medyo mabigat pa yung Wednesday ni Paco. So, I'm gonna put crafts here on Thursday. So, that's how I balance out their schedules. Paco needs to read every day since Friday is pretty light. I'm gonna put that there. 2, 3. So, my expectation is that he will read more during these days. Kumbaga, I'm more mindful about him narrating something that he's read for that day. There are some days na ka-casual reading lang sila naman. So, that's on them. And then he has drum lessons also on Sunday mornings. That's why hanggang 7 days. Okay, so okay na. Si Rue, Wednesday morning, she has her guitar. Okay? There. And then she does her math and her language arts every day. So I'm gonna paste that there. And then she has her ballet every Monday. Ay, mali. Tuesdays na pala siya. And Friday and Saturday morning. So, I have to make sure na Rue still learns on weekends. So, that's 2. And then, yung pinakamagaan niya dito is Mondays. Ay, mali. O, see? Ganda, diba? And Thursdays. So, that's when I schedule our narrations for her reading. Ayan. So, just in case you have other streams, may space pa dito. But for me, okay na yan. So, as you can see, ayan na, lumabas na. So, that means that my kids, kasi nga may hip-hop at drums. So, Paco is more tired usually on Wednesdays kasi 180 minutes siyang may lessons. So, that's 3 hours. Okay lang naman. Usually, 150, 165. So, more or less, this is how I spread it out for my children. So, and how I decide what to schedule where. So, usually, the adjustments will be in the scheduling, or I just need to be more mindful of the number of minutes that I allot per subject per day, or the number of days, diba? Ayun. So, basically, that's how we do it. In this calendar, dami kong notes dito, because I wanted to provide you with things that you might want to consider in your stream. And if you look at the calendar, I've already highlighted every 7 weeks. So, ito yung Sabbath or the rest in the Timon method of planning. I have plotted our school to start June 30 only because I want to take breaks. Ito, may number of weeks to skip na parang I want to allow grace for this weekend, yung usually nag-Halloween. So, I want to take 2 weeks off there and 5 weeks off during the December break, and then another 2 weeks off for spring break or the Holy Week break. So the weeks are already automatically numbered. So I have weeks 1 all the way to 52. So that's a whole year talaga. Pero yung totoo, hindi talaga ganyan. Kasi look, it's gonna start June 30, mag-e-end ang school year namin August 29. But not really, because it essentially just cycles through. If I change my rhythm to show you that the traditional 4 quarters and 9 weeks, okay, you will see that the calendar will also, your lessons will also reflect that. So, kumbaga, here sa lessons, 180 lessons na lang talaga yung 5 times a week na subject, which is usually the case. Okay? And then, it will show you na I really just need to do school until May 9. So, May, June, July. So, yun nga, yung traditional school year that we're used to, na parang may 2 months off for the summer. Kasi, 180 lessons is 36 weeks, or 4 quarters, or 9 weeks. So, for me though, I will cut it up to, nag-automate din yung rhythm, na since I divided it into 4, ito yun. Ayan, may formula dyan. Huwag niyong galawin yan, please. So, dito matatapos yun. Gets? Okay. And then, every 7th week, nag-rest ako, or dito ko isa-schedule on the 6th week, every cycle, yung parang culmination for grace. Ayan. For some, dito kayo you might want to take note na ito talaga yung exam week. Yung right before mag-start. Okay? If you take off these breaks and just plot them out, kasi usually, yun totoo, for me and my family, here, December onwards, we will have here Advent lessons. So, nag-shift yung homeschool namin depending on the season. So, that's about 7 weeks of Advent lessons. Definitely not doing school here because it's Christmas. Ayan. So, parang yun yung Sabbath in that cycle. And then we will have Holy Week. Holy Week, so yan, no? Kaya ako nilagay dito so you can refer. Holy Week is April 2 in 2026. So, April 2, ito yun. So, if this is Holy Week, dapat walang pasok niyan. Walang pasok yan. Yeah. At saka, dahil birthday week ng mga anak ko, spring break namin yan. So, I will just take note of that because by this time, so may exam niyan. So, hindi ka makakapag-exam dito. Usually kasi Pasko, di ba? So, kailangan ka mag-e-exam. Eto, ayaw mo naman mag-exam na kapag papasok ka pa lang. I'm sure may, ano tawag doon? Meron pang hangover from the holiday. So, you would probably schedule it here and this week. So, timing mo lang siya. And then, the final culmination week, ito na. Dapat dito na banda. Usually, iba naghahabol pa. For us, in Home Life Academy, our grade submissions are just twice a year. So, that's usually on June 15 and Jan 15. So, for our fall school year, dapat ready lang ako mag-submit ng grade submission here. And on June 15. So, that would be here. So, that's a lot of grace. Hindi ba? So, you can really space out and decide for yourself when you're going to do the exams, when you're going to fill up your portfolios. So, let's plot for example lang For example, do one lesson. Kunwari ganyan. Okay? Actually, pwede mo i-hide to kasi I only have what? There. So, I just want to do one lesson here. So, ginulo yung sariling plan. Okay, so for example, I've already written down unique lessons for each, okay? Just for the benefit of showing you how it will look like, okay? For example, you are on week 8 and week 4 of your first cycle. Sometimes also you can put here when you're ahead or behind. It's going to reflect the lessons automatically here. So, wala akong stream 2 and ganyan. Okay, so I don't think I put in enough lessons. Week 1 and 1 na lang. So, it's all going to appear automatically for your days. So, I hope, and then you can print, ayan, some people also plug in things that they want to remind their kids, maybe typing lessons or chores or nap time. And then may checklist lang dyan. So, you don't need to use all of the features of the planner. Some people just use it as a reference or lapagan, kumbaga, ng lessons that they consolidate, especially if you're using several other resources. Some people use the lesson planner to plot chapters to make sure that it fits, kung ganyan, 144 lessons or readings. So I hope this helps you plan a very rhythmic, flowy, and easy homeschool year. Salamat!